Greetings, everyone. My name is Reverend Jonathan R. Whitfield, chaplain here with the CCC at Berea College. So today we have a very special guest with us, and he spoke at chapel today, Dr. Maurice C. Reid. Dr. Reid, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And just a little bit, can you quickly give us just a brief spiel about who you are, where you come from, what you do here at Berea College? You can just...
Maurice Reid. I've been at Berea now for better part of 12 years, close to 13. And I came kind of as a surprise. I wasn't part of my big plan. I was teaching down the road, and a friend asked me to fill in a class that he was teaching because he was leaving the country for a while. And one class led to two, which led to four, which led to a contract. And 12 years later, I'm full-time here and don't teach down the road anymore.
Yes.
So it's been an interesting journey. What attracted me to the school was really the commitment to its students, the small class sizes, and the energy that students really bring to the classrooms. They are much more involved and determined to get their education than at some of the other institutions that I've been associated with.
Okay. Yeah, and so our theme at chapel today was stewardship, purpose, finances, and faith. And you spoke very powerfully about treasure, where your treasure is, the way your heart would be, also kind of with from Matthew 6. And your background's in economics and business.
Yes, I'm a professor of business, although I'm a trained engineer.
Trained engineer, you do it all.
So, I've got many interests.
Engineer from Georgia Tech, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Engineer from Georgia Tech.
Yes, indeed.
Industrial and chemical engineering.
Man.
And, worked as an engineer in the nuclear industry for a while, and then went from there to defense, where worked on projects that related to basically electronic defenses, that we made systems for some of our advanced fighter jets 30 years ago, and some land-based systems for our allies in the Middle East. And that was a fun job too. It was, as a young engineer, if you're working in defense projects, you have big budgets and lots of things to play with. And engineering work really is just you build stuff and make it work, and it's kind of fun to do that. Big kid.
Yeah, so you're not a regular person, right? That's amazing,
Yeah.
Like today, I remember you spoke powerfully. You were talking about treasure, where our focus is, and something you said was it's not necessarily always about money per se. It's more, sometimes it is about money, but it's also about where our energy is and where our focus is, and things of that nature, along with the money. And we are good stewards of that. Can you speak a little more to that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of emphasis in our society about money and material possessions. And if you go back to what treasure really is, treasure is those things that you value, but they allow you to pursue your purpose. And, my question today is, we all have a purpose, and if you're religious, it's a matter of, what's God's purpose for you? And the treasure that you accumulate should be used to achieve that purpose. There's a famous movie, War of the Roses, where the lawyer character who is negotiating, I think this is the line where he talks about, life is a game, and the one that has the most toys at the end wins. And that's completely wrong. Life is not about accumulating toys, because at the end, the toys will be left and you will be gone, and there'll be no value, no legacy that you leave behind. And, life is really about, what you create that's going to carry, your memory forward. And it's important that as we live our lives that we, yes, you want to live comfortably, but you want to be able to leave a mark. That, my presence in this place, in this time, meant something, and that's what you're remembered for.
Yeah,
that's your treasure.
I love that. And because I know right now a lot of people just like worry in our society. I guess as a business guy, an economics guy, an engineering guy, you're a lot of guys. I guess what would your advice be to just put, I guess, the people and families to try to just remain calm through the times that we're in? Just with them.
That it's very difficult to remain calm when you have such turmoil all around you. And, if you were to talk to a seasoned financial advisor, their advice, Warren Buffett as an example, the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, his advice would probably be, don't look. His when you make an investment, you should make investments in things that you believe in that have value. And when you invest in something that has value, you don't need to worry about the minor or major fluctuations that other people will attach or assume that value is. You know what the value is, and that value will ring true in the long term and provide for you later on. And so, if you're in the financial markets, and these days, things are swinging. Well, we've had 3 days of double-digit declines, and people are just getting freaked out. But if they've invested in things that have value, that are meaningful, and create things that are meaningful, then those fluctuations are just that, fluctuations that over a period of time will correct themselves because the value is still there. I mean, there's nothing that's happened in the last 2 days or 2 weeks that has destroyed that value. If you still need toothpaste to clean your teeth, you're still going to need toothpaste to clean your teeth. Right. And the value that toothpaste brings to you did not disappear. It didn't go down by 30%. And so, you have to have confidence in your ability to select things that are value and not false value. And as long as you invest in that way, these minor fluctuations will not be long-term hurtful for you.
Man, that's beautiful. I got a lot from that. I see why you do what you do. That's beautiful. Here at CCC, we try to, when we're facing times like this, we try to be a voice just for people to kind of pull back and just center themselves and ground themselves. And so that's why we love hearing from just different speakers as yourself from different backgrounds and different expertise. And so it's very much needed in a time like this. A couple more questions. Throughout your life, the things that you've seen, what advice could you give to, let's say, students who are looking to just be better stewards of their finances, their resources, their knowledge, their time? Just because you talked today about how you've seen students do a lot of things throughout your tenure. And so from that, what's some advice you can just give students as they're looking to just grow in this area? Well,
when you're a student, and to be honest, we're all students in different capacities, but when you're at the formative stage of your life, and college is just that, a formative stage, you're really out to experience and learn the things that you like and to learn what fuels your passion. And, college is that time where you have to experiment with all of the options that are out there to find what you're truly passionate about. And when you find that passion, that will drive the motivation that will allow you to excel and perform. And so my advice to students is to explore, to be curious about everything, to explore other places, study abroad, study a different language in a different culture, learn about different people. As you explore these different areas, you will find things that you like and that you are passionate about. And when you have that passion, it will motivate you to remain curious and to study and to learn more about the things that make you happy and that you want to pursue. I have a cousin that kind of stewarded me through college. Living away from home at college, he lived in the town where I was going to school. I thought he was a really accomplished man. He was a pastor, but had fallen away from the church and was working as an entrepreneur. His comment to me was, I may not be the smartest person, but I am persistent and I am determined. And my determination, my willingness to put in the work, the effort to do good will always outweigh those people that have a lot of intelligence but don't know how to apply it. And so, I've used that thought throughout my career because I haven't been good at a lot of things, and some would say that I've moved around enough to where, I like a lot of things, but I am determined and persistent on those things that I start to make sure that they get done, and that ability to be committed really helps in allowing me to be successful. Wow. So that's kind of been my motto. I was never a straight A student when I was an undergraduate student, and in fact, the high school I went to didn't give letter grades. Oh, wow. And so when I went to college, where everybody lived and died by letter grades, I had to learn that system as to, in my upbringing, if you understood it, that was sufficient. That was big. And in college, if you got an 89 on a paper, and you saw where there was an error in the grading, say, I understand the material, I don't need to go back and get 2 more points that would change that 89 to a 91 from a B to an A. And, I suffered until I became more aware of how to work the system in college. And, but that wasn't important to me then. And yet I was still able to go on in spite of that and go to get a good job. I had a good graduate school in Columbia University, so Ivy League. And then after working for a couple of decades, went back to school yet again for another master's and a doctorate. And the master's was philosophy, not business. Man. And so the mix, it's being curious and pursuing things that you are passionate about that allow you to be successful, allow you to create the opportunities that you can then exploit to make yourself better.
I love how you tie that together. I love that. As they say in the church, that'll preach. It will. And
Thank you.
I see it because one fun thing about you, you are an avid motorcyclist.
Yes.
And it goes into everything you're saying, like you professor, business, economics, but you also ride a motorcycle, and one of the most freeing things, in my opinion, that you can do. Get out on the open road and just ride. And so that shows me the brevity of who you are as a being. And we all be strenuous sometimes with work, but on a cycle you can just let your hair down, as they say, and just be free. And so that goes to a lot of things you say.
If you don't take the time to enjoy the life that you have, you are diminishing your existence and your ability to share joy with others. You have to be joyful. And when you are, it's easy for others to see that and then to be joyful themselves. And, you know, it goes to how you approach life. When I'm in the classroom, I enjoy my subjects and the material, and I hope that is transmitted by the jokes I make, the fact that I can make fun of myself as much as the students would like to make fun of me. But, you know, it still leaves a message that then is memorable, and you know, when they have an opportunity to apply that theory, they can relate and find a memory that triggers, I need to use this skill, and I can put it in this place and make a better decision because of it.
Yes, I love it. And speaking of memorable, and we'll end with this, and I don't want to steal your thunder. You made an announcement today at Chapel about where you're going, and can you want to share?
I am retiring as of commencement in 25 from Berea, and you know, as my wife is apt to remind me, I have failed at retirement now 3 times, or 2 times, and this is number 3. And so I am excited about that chapter. You know, we have built our retirement home in Charleston, South Carolina, which, if you're in town, you're welcome to look me up, and we'll go break bread or do something while we're in town. So I'm excited about that. I have, even though I am, you know, a retired academic, or will be, you know, I've already signed up to go back to school, and wife and I are going to go and take some courses next year. What else am I doing? I've started 2 businesses that will be running out of South Carolina, in addition to some of my family side businesses. So I'll be pretty busy. And the businesses that, or one of the businesses that I've started, will have me traveling to art galleries around, initially in the Southeast, but I'll be promoting artists that hopefully will take me to other countries as well. And so I like to travel, so I'll be now able to do that, you know, frequently, and it'll be part of my business.
There it is. I really appreciate that. I think people are gonna get a lot from this interview, because it really shows everything you talked about. You actually live in, you know, in the hip hop world. They'll say you live in your raps, you know, and it's true, because you know it shows how, you know, how you should live. You know, school, you do your thing, you retire, and you're still busy, and you're still using the talents and the gift that God has given you, and you're taking advantage of the time and the joys of life, while also educating others. So I think that's worthy of being respected.
Thank you.
And so we appreciate your time, Dr. Reid, the time you give me here today at Chapel, but also the time you give me here at Berea College. So we just want to say thank you, and enjoy retirement, or try to enjoy retirement without coming back. But when you come back, we here for you.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate your time.
Take care.
All right.